actually. Uh, We are past the time. Was I doing, brother? Anyway, my bad, I guess. Sorry. And also, good evening. It's time to do something, I guess. Uh, well, it's it's quite. Wait. I have a model that I can actually utilize. That's different. Give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. Yeah, mute. I don't even know if I'm muted or not. What's up? Yeah, I did. So, wait. This fits. Now, green screen. There we are. We are so. Wait. Give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. Ta-da! There we are. So much for a change. Good evening. Here we are. Wow, astonishing actually. It's also. Is it loud or do I have my headphones like? Nah, yeah, they are loud. I can afford to lower the volume. Uh, it's fine. It's not all that loud actually. I think. I assume it's on like -40. Supposedly that's good. We are in the like what is it in the mid yellows, so it should be good. Finally, after like I don't know a little bit of streaming, I understand how audio works, and I am happy with that. So yeah. Uh, but anyways, no. Actually, let me try to plug the mouse. I guess. I don't know. Give me a second. There it is. So much better. Anyways, wow. Here we are. I guess. Oh no, man. It has been so long. We find ourselves here after how much? 2 years already. Wow. It's how fast does time pass? I guess I don't know. Something along those lines. I assume it's nice to be here still. That's something that I can say actually. So yeah, that's not bad to say. That's good. It's I guess it's sufficient in a sense. It's nice to remain after so long. I guess it's has a nice feeling to it, so to speak. So yeah, here we find ourselves as after how much, how many things have happened so far. I don't know, man. It's I actually have to look back, and it's complicated. You know, it's living a life in which you actually sit down and look back, and now having the I wouldn't say obligation. It's always not something out of done out of forced thing, but yeah, I remember. Let me say it like this. One of the things that I do remember was last year I wasn't even aware that the anniversary was close, and something very funny that happened was it was a completely normal day. It was an absolutely average day, like any other day, because I didn't realize that. Yeah, it was actually the anniversary, so to speak. It was so crazy to see that. It was like, wow, today we're going to be talking about something. I don't even remember what. And out of nowhere, it ended up being just like here, yeah. This this thing that Twitch sort of, I wouldn't say forces, but nuts you to do, Of, oh wow, yeah, say the send your congratulations, something like that. I think it is the message, and yeah, it was to see that after having already decided on doing something completely average, and it was surprising at the time. It was surprising. Nowadays, we have at least 2 days prior of notice to know that yeah, today is the day in which supposedly it is the anniversary, so it feels better. Just because of that, it already feels better. You get to have some time to organize yourself, I guess, in a sense. Yeah, that's that's good enough. That's more than positive enough, I can say. And I don't know, man. It's it's 2 years, bro. It's so much stuff. Not actually in itself many things that we can count in terms of oh wow yeah. Today we played this game or that game. That's the funny thing about being here. No such thing as having the capacity to count on anything like that. But besides that, everything else is what I guess matters. What we can look at and say, wow, yeah, this also happened. Like the possibility of yeah, seeing that besides anything else or despite whatever else that has happened, having continued for not exactly so long. It's not about the duration. I don't think that's in a way. If you have a child, 2 years are still like nothing. So it's incredibly early to say that it's a long journey so far. But it's more along the lines of yeah, 2 years of existing. And I guess I don't know. It doesn't come from an honest play to say, wow, yeah, and not having given up. I don't feel like that. I'm not one of those people who likes to give up on things. Let's say like this. I have found something that I actually like. I don't think it is something useful to actually renounce to the things to which I find an attachment, So yeah, I don't think that it's something worth actually getting amazed over the realization of wow, yeah, you know what? Here we are, 2 years and having. I don't think it's not something actually in the book. It's we can act like it is something to worry ourselves about or something along those lines, but man, life is good. I cannot really complain. It's more than sufficiently good right now as it is, so no need to actually worry in that sense. I wouldn't. Yeah, I don't know. It's the same thing as always. If you ask me, I don't think I am inclined to actually, no, graduating in that sense. It's not something that has I I wouldn't say not crossed my mind, but more along the lines of not actually decided on it in a sense of oh yeah, this is an alternative that I have to go for. But I think that I understand is going to allow anything better to happen, I guess. It's in that sense that I say, yeah, 2 years are not that long. If implying, sort of, let me say it more directly, that the subtext, hidden subtext inside of that is, yeah, you're going to be here for quite a long while, I guess. I assume so. It's I can finally say it in a sense. It's not so hard to actually accept that, yeah, this is going to be something that we're actually going to be committing ourselves to. Quite a crazy realization, I guess. Let me say like this: you don't actually expect sometimes to be hit by your interests, by your capacity to be amused at stuff. To some degree is predictable, yeah. We all know ourselves to some degree, but other times, yeah, you find out that, wow, I am actually attached to these things, I am actually interested in this stuff and whatnot, and it's quite crazy to say. I guess, I don't know. I always think about it in that sense of, oh, wow, yeah, I'm not just sitting here talking to myself. If I have to hear that from someone else, do I actually believe them when they say, yeah, you know what? I'm not going to abandon you, brothers, sisters, Umfi. It's not something that I am looking forward to. I don't know. It's quite complicated to actually trust somebody who says that. Not in a sense because, oh yeah, you know what, I hope you actually give up. No, it's just that the human spirit is quite inclined to change over time. At some point, the interest supposedly dies away in most people. It's you go past that era of enchantment that you feel over the things that you do, you know? And I, when I hear somebody else say, yeah, you know what? We are going to continue being here. I don't know. Let's see how that goes a year from now. But despite all of that uh, inner drama, I guess, yeah, my response is here we are, and here we are going to keep on being, I guess. Something quite crazy to say, something quite complicated to actually observe. It's just a promise over words. The actions themselves are going to show how the next, or in general, the future is going to unravel itself. Like, so yeah. At least, as I said before, at the very least, I remember that particularly because it was something very funny. In that sense, I remember when I think it was Pancho who happened to come here time first year anniversary, and it was quite crazy to see that we are still here. It's good to know that we are still here. But yeah, I hope we get to also be here next year. I guess next. It's always that desire to still have this to some degree, not so many changes. It's I don't know. I don't think it's useful to actually desire all that much to not have as many things of the past. I'm not somebody who I don't try to think about it too much, but it doesn't mean that I don't have any kind of attachment to it. It doesn't mean that I wouldn't be hard if I see, I don't know, all the people that I used to know disappear one day, you know? So I'm not saying it in that sense. It's just that, yeah, as I said before, what we hope for, what we say that we want, what we say that we are going to do, sometimes isn't actually aligned with exactly what we get. So I don't know, brother. The point is, here we are. It has been 2 years so far, so here we are. And I hope that next, implying stuff, if this next year goes minimally well, I guess, I don't know. If everything moves according to the plans, to the observed ideas and whatnot, we shall find ourselves next year in a much better, not exactly just when it starts, a year from now, sorry, a year from now, we are going to find ourselves in a much better position in many senses, in many ways. So yeah, that's also something to look forward to. I I finally have decided on changing the PC and whatnot, so that's minimally a step forward in some kind of direction. That's going to be a chaotic event in itself, but it's going to also be good. It's also going to be awesome in a sense because, yeah, otherwise, we're going to be, let's say like this, finally enough time has passed so that if I don't actually make a change in that sense, in that way, we might as well be risking losing everything else and struggling for quite a long time. Mostly because, yeah, technology, even if it is made with some degree of honesty or integrity or whatever, it is destined to fail, and this PC has already served its, I wouldn't say condemned, but it has served its course. It has functioned more than what we can, the average expect, so that's good. In that sense, it is that, yeah, it's time to actually look forward to a change, look forward to a time in which, I don't know, as I said before, a year from now, it will have happened that things, at least in that order, will have changed. And I guess, I don't know. Personally, I assume I will try to keep on getting even better. This last year has been quite chaotic. Last one was, to some degree, even worse. The beginning, I think I can probably make a sort of roadmap in a sense. Probably the half of the second half of the first year, and or from that one until the first half of this second year. Yeah, or sorry, the second half from the first year and the second, or and the, oh my god, why is English so hard sometimes? Uh, Let me begin the sentence again. Okay, from the beginning of the second half of the first year up to the end of the first half of this second year, things were incredibly chaotic. So yeah, in a sense, I assume that things are not going to be that much like that anymore. I hope so. I don't know, man. Uh, Life is a chaos, so it's hard to actually try to ensure anything. I wouldn't trust that, brother. I wouldn't trust it. Mostly, yeah, mostly because it doesn't actually depend on me in that sense. It's quite crazy to see that. Yeah, most of, not most. Besides, I don't know. There was like a, I don't exactly remember where I heard this meme of, oh wow, yeah, you know what? The life is 20% what happens and 80% how you react to what happened. Yeah, I guess to some degree it is true, but at the same time, uh, I don't know, man. I I think that that 20% sometimes is quite heavier and quite more overwhelming than what we can actually give credit to this whole view of. I might make myself far more responsible for things so that I don't feel as much in a chaotic state sometimes. Not that I am actually so much in control, but I can say that I find myself being in control. And yeah, I don't know, man. It's it's a whole mess of an existence. I guess it's inside of that we still have stuff like, oh yeah, having to grow up and become a proper adult and take care of the responsibilities and whatnot, that's like a whole world of things. And that has been a process, slow transition into something that was quite crazy. And yeah, it's also the contemplation of everything else that makes it so much harder. But the point being, I assume, I assume that we're going to find ourselves in a better place this a year from now, or yeah, as in this upcoming year, this upcoming next 365, 364 days until the next anniversary, we are going to be. I assume we are going to be good, and yeah, it's the hopes at the very least. That's what I believe matters. That's what I want to say matters. But I don't know. Personally speaking, I guess I don't know. I am never somebody who actually talks about that. That's also why it's complicated to mention anything of that sort. But I guess on a more personal level, yeah, I don't think my future, in a more general sense, looks all that bright. I think there are going to be quite a lot of struggles in the future. As in, oh yeah, this upcoming year is still going to be a struggle. But anyways, if we don't struggle, what do we do then? So the point is, we're going to try continue existing and continue sharing stuff like this. Looking forward to yeah the next meeting, the next opportunities and such. And I don't know, it's it's going to be wild, unavoidable. It's going to be crazy. It's already crazy enough to think about it. In a sense, it's life. Life is quite unpredictable in many ways. So maybe I don't know. I think it's unrealistic, but at the same time, maybe things change for the better. No, maybe. ah, so hi, welcome. Good evening. Uh, Kinghood. Sorry if I say it wrong. Sorry, my bad. Welcome. Here we are. Ah, what are we doing? Good question. I'm here to listen. No problem. Sit tight, enjoy it. No issue. I guess. Not that I guess. It's fine. Actually, that's most of what happens. Yeah. I'm actually quite glad. It's most of what I like to do is that it's the act of just being. So don't worry and thank you. Welcome, sit tight, and I don't know, get something to drink. Keep yourself safe, meanwhile. But yeah, what I was saying, I don't know, hoping that the next year goes well. That's as much as I can actually promise. I don't know. Once again, I want to believe. We want to always have some sort of faith in things, but yeah, it's also to some degree complicated. It's I don't know. I guess it's this whole thing of I can actually have an easier time if I sort of turn off my brain than if I actually try to force myself to be much more positive in a sense. But I don't know. I still have just like everything else. Not just in this next year. In life in general, there are always things to keep on working on, things to keep on making sure that we do even better and such. So I cannot complain. I cannot actually say that. Oh wow, yeah, what an issue to take care of my own existence. That's not a really comprehensible thing to complain about. I guess it's just that yeah, there is work to keep on doing, and That's going to be fun, I guess. Besides that, let me let me say something else. Sorry. Besides that, I don't know projects. There are more than a handful. Where finally, it took quite a long time actually to finally be capable of getting back into the whole Mahabharata stuff. I wasn't expecting to take so long actually. And I remember when I started, I tried to make some guesses about it, and to some degree, I was thinking about it the other way. Luckily enough, yeah, I have. I wouldn't exactly say better. I just have acquired a wider array of skills to be capable of performing stuff that is associated with the whole thing of interpreting any kind of text. Yeah, and something very funny that happened with that was the realization of, wow, maybe I said the first time I started. That's what I was going with this. The first time I started reading that book, I have estimated maybe it's going to take like 3 years. Maybe unless we can actually, I don't know, dedicate ourselves more truly to that action, to that whole process. Maybe taking into consideration how much we have progressed thus far, I assume that yeah, by 20, what are we in 2020? What year are we in? Sorry for the actual question. What year? 2025. Okay, yeah. My bad. 2025. Okay, so I assume that by 2028 or so we're going to be done with that. It's going to be quite crazy if it's even later. It's going to, by that time, it will have taken 4 years to finish one book. But anyways, it's something wonderful, I guess. It's just like many similar things, to get the possibility of sharing and the possibility of experiencing things not just by oneself, but actually that beautifulness of, oh wow, yeah, I can also sit down and focus myself on things that I like doing, not just by myself. It's that component of, I wouldn't just say socializing. I don't want to boil it down to socializing. It's the experience, the shared experiences in things that has to deal with, I guess, in that sense, yeah, the whole prospect of supposedly being somebody who dedicates himself to philosophy and somebody who likes to talk about that sort of stuff. That's what is wonderful in a sense. And I don't know, it's it's just the continuation of that, basically. Many many more things, I guess, will also need to move around. I I'm not somebody who plans quite a lot. I guess I don't know. I remember hearing this expression. It's a constant expression of the people who have ADHD, which I do also experience. It's so yeah. It's not like, oh wow, yeah, this might apply to me. No, certainly it does to some degree apply to me. That whole avoidant style of existing in which I don't actually try to set up goals because to some degree setting anything up already predisposes us to failure in some way, and it is better to not make the other person suffer because we failed. So it's better to actually not do anything. Even if in the long run, unavoidably, everybody loses, the person wastes their whole potential, misses on what they can actually do, and ignores the capacities that they have. I can say it in a general sense, but I cannot actually be capable of committing to that in my own case. I am trying to work on that unavoidably, but many such cases of stuff like that also happening here, and yeah, it's just trying to work on that and trying to, why did I even say that? Trying to make that not be the case so much so that we can, I guess, keep on doing everything else here. keep on doing everything else that is associated to, yeah, sharing just chill moments, or something that even if in nature it isn't exactly chill, even if in nature it isn't exactly the most calm thing, I don't know. I I think that sadly, yeah, even if they are just ideas, some things are incredibly hard to actually talk out. Even once again, even if they are just words to say, I think they are going to be quite funny things to experience. And it's just to get to continue doing that. At the end of the day, I began with that. I was trying to say, yeah, I do enjoy it. So I don't want to actually say, yeah, you know what, it's people, it's time to wrap up. This doesn't have anything else to offer. It's time to give. I don't think so, man. I understand the mentality in other areas, not here. I actually have quite a wonderful time. So I might be harming myself more if I actually say something like that. So yeah, it's we just have to see how things keep on, as I said before, evolving. Not just in relation to my own existence, in relation to everything else, I guess, to all the other stuff that has to deal with the world around us and such. I I assume things are going to keep on being nice. And yeah. Then I guess at that point we reach not exactly what was the most important thing to discuss, but one of them. I remember I even tried to talk out a project. I think I should, if everything goes well, I shall finish it before the year ends. Actually, as I said before, let me, without actually talking about it, uh, I still struggle quite a lot. So excuse me for that. You have my excuse there, but I still cannot solve it so easily. But yeah, I said I worked hard even here. It was the whole, the whole bit of, oh wow, yeah, let's write something and let's try to make something out of here. It's easy to do that, but it's also not so easy to actually finish that on one hand, and on the other one, stuff happened. So that's taking quite a little bit longer than what it should have. Well, the whole essay should have been finished already, but it wasn't sadly, so excuse me. Yeah, the point is, assuming that things go well, before the year ends, it should be something of its own, and that will, I assume, lead to more stuff. Everywhere else, we have to see, anyways. We have still to. I don't make it a problem for everyone else. I have to actually sit down and finish stuff like that. Finish writing, polishing, and also adding everything else that might be missing to it. That's going to be fun. But yeah, it's it's a project. Just like many more things of this sort, it's a project of sorts that we have to actually work on. Yeah. Now, do I have any other project of so? Yeah, yeah. One more. One more project before actually the most, I guess, important thing before the sauce. There is this other interesting thing. Uh, Recording stuff. I was thinking about it. I do want to actually sit down. That's that's not so complicated to spell out. That's me actually being so much of an, I guess, you can boil it down to just being summer brained or ADHD and whatnot. It's sort of dishonesty. It's, yeah, more of a personal issue in terms of I don't actually have enough patience, or it isn't patience. What's the word? Enough of an attention span to just sit down and focus myself on doing that and nothing else. I I want to actually. I said now. I believe on that. I want to actually record things, reading stuff. I want to continue reading things that I know I have to read. I will unavoidably have to read things either by myself or, in that case, That's the whole point. Not just record something, keep it to my sorry, not just read things and keep them to myself. To some degree, it's also something that can be shared. The whole experience of getting to read something and go over the text. I wouldn't, as maybe I can't even actually talk about it that much. I don't want to actually record the stuff in like I have done analyzing the text. I just want to do that whole stuff of audiobook, sort of, and that's interesting to do. But I need to sit down to do it. It's once again being uh, too much freedom can be negative sometimes. Not because it actually is bad, but rather because the person doesn't understand how much they are free in their own ways. So they end up struggling quite a little bit in the act of actually getting to do what they want and actually getting to live the way in which they want. It's this whole area of, yeah, sometimes I can forget that I am more capable of living the life that I want to have just because I have other things that also give me some pleasure. And it's trying to just balance that more. I, not as a real complaint, it's just life, I guess, the structure of existence and such. I'm trying to work on that also. But yeah, that's that's the second most important thing. Not actually. I don't know. I don't want to make any once again, I don't want to make promises. Mostly also because it sounds incredibly to some degree. I still have a hard time actually talking about that. I understand the stuff myself. But I said it before, I understand things from my own perspective. If I were to hear them from the perspective of another person, can I understand what I am saying? Can I believe what I am spouting, so to speak? Are the statements that I am creating followable, followable enough? Or is it more of a fantasy that I am narrating? And I, because I have deluded myself enough, believe that they are going to be true. But the person who hears them has a hard time actually understanding anything or making a judgment which leads to them saying, yeah, wow, this guy actually has hope on stuff. Wow. I don't know. The point is, I guess, yeah, we have to keep on working. And that's not exactly just in that sense, just me, not also something that is associated so much with, oh wow, yeah, this sense of we all have to share these brothers and sisters. It's more complicated than that, but that's a whole different discussion. The point is, yeah, we have to keep on working on stuff. Why am I clarifying this? I said it before. Reading stuff might not actually be the second most important thing. That might be, I don't know, third, fourth place. The most important thing is actually getting to create the stuff. The most, or in this order of things that we get to discuss right now, we have many things to work on, and it's going to be interesting to do so unavoidably, but at the same time, yeah, it's going to be quite chaotic to actually sit down and do that. Mostly also because, yeah, in some ways, you wouldn't expect that, I don't know, have so much hope or interest in writing stuff. You wouldn't see that be the norm. I don't know. Not in a negative way, but yeah, just honest statement. I haven't known that many Vtubers who actually say, oh yeah, you know what, we will create, I don't know, essays, and we are going to be talking about them. I don't see that being the norm, and I don't see that being the thing that happens or that, in a sense, is seen as normal. So that's why also I say, yeah, sometimes it's hard to follow actually, not just from a sense of self-defeating sensations and whatnot, but actually You're honestly telling me that this guy is going to spend so much of his time writing stuff, hoping that other people has interest on that, and he says so with so much interest? I don't know. That might be delusional, but at the same time, it's the truth. In this case, it is the truth. It's going to be quite a funny future, and this. Okay, let me clarify that. I don't think it is going to be just something that happens next year or in the next 365 days and never more. I don't think so. I think it's I think it's going to be a long run project. In a sense, I guess, yeah, I didn't actually clarify that. I said it before. I don't think that this is something that we are going to abandon so easily or to give up on so rapidly. So, what does that mean? Can you actually give me a time frame, a time reference at the very least? How much then? If this right now isn't something that we are going to give up on, then how much are we actually looking forward to into the future? You say that you're going to write this stuff right now, or just in the next year and never more. Okay, how much? How long? For how many years of your life are you willing to do it? I don't know, maybe 5, maybe 10. I assume that if everything goes right, how old am I? 8 more years should be a respectable amount. So yeah, it's going to be quite crazy. Eight more years of this at the very least in this actual format is going to be quite crazy. And yeah, in that sense, as I was saying, that's the long run sort of stuff. Not so right now, not so in the moment. It is going to happen. It is going to be a thing that we think about, that we worry ourselves with. Yeah, true. But at the same time, it isn't exactly the thing that we are going to be spending too much talking about, too much time talking about right now. Why? It's going to be something that it's slowly going to happen through time. So that's more of a let's worry about that once it happens. Once we actually need to worry about it, you know. But yeah, the point is, here we are. I can at least guarantee that we're going to continue with this so far, and I am happy with that. I think it's a realistic enough statement. That much is understandable. And unavoidably, yeah, I don't know. That's sort of the implicit message, but at the same time, it doesn't work so well if it is never fully expressed. Thanks for everything. It has been quite a wonderful time. Yeah, I don't know. There is this whole perspective of, oh wow, yeah, yeah, I get to have everything that I want in a way in which I feel myself gratified while at the same time I'm incredibly angry at the things that I do have, but I cannot express that. I see that happening way too much when I have to experience somebody say, oh wow, yeah, thanks for these things. Thanks for everything that I have been giving. I don't know, man. I I try to say it from an honest place. Thanks for everything. It has been wonderful. And it is something that I actually enjoy. So I do want to keep on being here, you know? And I do actually look forward to being here. It's not. Yeah, I think I finally, at some point in my life, I finally understood what it meant to have an actual passion for something. And I guess I was lucky enough to find something like this in which I can actually be myself and be passionate in a way. And that's something always nice, not just nice enough, nice because it is, in that sense, more than what we can actually ask for. In that sense, yeah, it is enough. Something actually fulfilling, you know? That's satisfying. And yeah, that's what I was saying. That's why thanks for everything. It's going to be. It has been a lovely time being here, despite whatever else has happened in my own personal life, which in itself, besides, I don't know, the regularity of being here, it didn't have that much of an impact in any other area and such. So that doesn't matter. What we have here is good enough, and what we get to continue sharing here is wonderful enough. And I cannot actually complain about it. I cannot actually say anything bad about that. I, I keep on looking forward to that. More than certainly. Yeah, I guess, I don't know. We have to see. Probably, I said before, when I have to change PC and whatnot, I will probably also know whether we have to take a break. I think so, mostly because it's going to be a whole process. That's going to be something. Having to finally change technologies is something that to this degree I haven't done in so long that it might as well be since I was a child. So yeah, it's understandable. But besides that, no other I think foreseeable actual hiccup in our way. And I don't know, before it actually happens, we might as well have I yeah, that's going to be actually hard to define, I guess. Some months, some years even? Not sorry, not years, not years. Some months, either just a handful or actually, I don't know. At the least, 5 months. If I took 5 months to change PC, something probably went incredibly wrong, I guess. I, I mean, I can say that right now. I won't discuss that when it actually happens, but yeah, if for some random reason, by by the time by I don't know by March I didn't change my PC, something had gone wrong. I can promise that thus far, and I can say it without actually having to worry in the sense of, oh wow, yeah, something did go wrong. Why? Because it is something that is in response or in conversation with the future me. The future me will have to come up with an excuse if that didn't happen actually. But yeah, I imply that I suppose, sorry, that by March or so, things will have gotten good enough, and that will be a pleasure, actually. And yeah, looking forward to that. But yeah, that's the only hiccup that I think is planned. I think I don't know. I don't want to. Once again, I don't want to make any promise in the sense of yeah. And besides that, we are going to be here every single other week, completely, constantly. I don't know. Personally, at least that much I can say. It is slowly approaching, and I am not somebody who meshes so well with it. So if I faint or something, don't get angry at me. I'm like that. I might pass out one day and end up missing a stream or something. But yeah, the point is, I don't know. We're fine. That's what I'm trying to say. Thank you. And yeah, now onto the most important thing actually. The most interesting one of them. The one that I was saving, sort of. Mostly, actually, also because I do have a hard time really revealing it in a sense. I I wasn't even sure about how to go about it in itself until not exactly very recently. I guess it has been cooking for some months now. But yeah, I have finally figured out what is going to be of the way in which we find ourselves here. As in, how, what are we going to be seeing, you know? I cannot, right now, I don't have a need to actually lie. Yeah, to some degree, it's funny. It's a good gimmick, you know? To have the potato and whatnot. Yeah, that's true. But at the same time, yeah, it's, I don't know, after 2 years, at some point you actually say, wow, yeah, I think the gimmick has run its course. Maybe it's time to have something actually personal and not just more of a gimmicky or yeah, more of a gag character and not much more. And yeah, I can figure out something, and that's something that I am looking forward to. I I have still to figure out how to go about it, where to do that, how to do that, and what not. Eh, But yeah, I guess that as much as I can reveal thus far, it is going to be a humanoid design. It is going to be a favorite, and I guess that's going to be more for the long run, even more for the long run. Uh, but most surely 3D or something along those lines. And yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't say completely outlandish in terms of wow, yeah, what's the average VTuber does. I want to shield behind that. Yeah, you know what? It's going to be the most, the craziest of the things that we have. No, actually, it's not going to be like that. It's actually going to be something much more interesting in the sense of yeah, I guess something quite not different, not unique, something quite out of the norm, I guess. I don't know how to say it without feeling like yeah the implied message is like not like everyone else. No, that's not actually the point. The point is, you know what? It's going to be something different. That's something that I can say in a sense of something not so seen. I think I haven't seen anyone else with a design like that. That's what I'm trying to say. It's not so hard actually. I'm just I guess losing myself over my own words. It's going to be something interesting. I don't even have a design because I am still thinking about it myself. A design to show. But yeah, at some point it's going to become a reality. The first thing, once again, still, is to get a working PC. That's the first goal. But yeah, I assume that if everything goes right, probably by the end of next year, we will be finally seeing some proper changes and whatnot towards a proper design and a proper thing which we can call me, you know? Not just this current state of, wow, a potato with a funny looking face and not much more. At least this one, I guess I can talk a little bit about this one. This one was, I remember, made by Dempa Fish, that girl, that was amazing. And yeah, I I can finally, I guess, stop being such a what's can I say the word? I guess I can. Such a cry baby that I feel bad if I use it. You know, I can actually use it right now, so I don't have that much of an issue using this one. Uh, and that's good. That's actually nice. But yeah, at some point in the not so distant future, we're going to be departing from this current type of model even. So yeah, looking forward to that, I guess. But personally, I don't actually sound all that happy, I guess, because I have to work on that myself. I want to. That's the consequence of the living situations and whatnot. I guess to some degree, it's nice to learn that yeah, you can actually do the stuff that you want by yourself because I don't have the money to pay someone else to do the design and whatnot. But at the same time, it's also the weight of, ah, wow, I actually have to commit myself to making things work by my own hands. And that's going to be incredibly hard. Once again, even more so because what I said, the design is not going to be something normal. That's going to be incredibly crazy to make function, you know? But I will figure it out. I have figured out many other things in the past. I don't think it is going to be all that hard. I guess, and but this whole idea of you keep on crashing or you keep on hitting the same wall, a million times until one day it finally breaks down and you get to pass to the place to which you wanted to go. The same thing here. Maybe it does take me a year or so to learn how to make a model, how to make a 3D model, how to sprite, no, not sprite, how to design and how to give it shape and whatnot. But at the same time, it is all for the sake of getting something that feels good. That I can say I like far more than just this design. So that's also going to be good. That's also going to be interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't talked for an hour. I don't actually know what else to say. I guess let me let me drink something. Let me drink something and I will think. I know I have said it's more of a having said yeah, this habit of speaking too much or too rapidly without actually sitting down and absorbing what I have said, this non-stop talking that I tend to go on. Sorry for that. But yeah, the point is, let me see. Give me a second, and I will actually remember what did I not mention that I should mention. I don't know. I don't plan to be here. It's one of those things, I am not somebody. I guess I say it quite often. I am not somebody who celebrates stuff. So if I am going to do this, I at the very least should do it minimally well. I think that yeah, the average day of us here can be 1 hour, but today it's going to be quite sad if it actually is also just 1 hour, you know. But yeah, let me drink something. Give me 1 second, thank you. Okay, I remember something. I finally have a memory. I guess I don't know. We are talking about stuff here. I am going to talk about something that I shouldn't be exactly talking here. I should be discussing that with literally everyone else who is involved in that. But I assume that unavoidably at some point, most certainly when I get the new PC and whatnot, we will have to restructure stuff like the bar. I'm quite happy with knowing that we got that working. I don't even remember. We never talk about that in a sense because it's it's not an actual question to some degree, but yeah, I remember having picked up that concept from somewhere else. It was like, oh wow, yeah, somebody said you should have something like that to just get drunk and whatnot. Yeah, to some degree it's true that it's just that, but at the same time it can be quite a little bit more. That's something that I finally can say I have grown to be fond of, and I'm happy with that. I look forward to that. I guess, yeah. As I said before, at some point it is sadly also going to change in some way. Mostly because it has to deal also not just with me, it also has to deal with a lot of people. It relies not just on me once again. So it's going to be quite crazy to see it change, but I guess that's also going to keep on existing. And that's the point that I was trying to go for was sadly at some point it will have to take a break. Even if nowadays it is more in an intermittent way of existing and whatnot, in actuality it's also going to be on an official break. I said it before. The moment in which I get a proper PC, it's many things will change. Not yeah, not sadly, actually for the better, but as always, change is not always so expected or not something that you can anticipate so much. More so because again, I don't know. I say I am going to take a break, and after that I come back and what? That's where it gets funny. I don't know. Maybe if things go well, we can have a proper bar and we can have a proper place in which we don't have to just sit around, but we will have to see. Once again, also sadly, I don't know. It is related to many more promises. As I said before, still struggling with making promises that I fear that if I say them, and we cannot actually follow through on them, it's it's going to be far more not just annoying but harmful than to never say anything about what we look forward to. But without justifying my way out of giving a proper explanation, yeah, um, I assume that changes are going to be bound to happen soon enough. Stuff like, having the bar work, having here not just literally be me sitting around because I cannot do anything else. I don't know. On the other hand, I have also to some degree to properly think about it. I don't know. I don't want to become a summer baby in a sense of, wow, let's play something what I do. The same thing that I do right now, that is speaking, but fumble both at the game because I am 50% paying attention to the game and fumble at any kind of discussion because I am not actually paying attention to what I am saying as much because I am accustomed to playing a game silently. So it's going to be a whole universe of possibilities. But the proper expression here is we are going to cross that bridge once we get there. It's sort of meaningless to worry so much about it right now. The point is things, events, occurrences, life, I guess, I don't know, existence, existence, my dear friend, existence in its utmost expression. And I don't know what I what can I actually say about the past. Once again, I'm somebody that does struggle quite a lot with observing the past. It's quite amazing to look at the past and see so many things that have happened, but at the same time, it's also, I don't know. I'm somebody who is prone to melancholy when I look back at things, and therefore I don't like to actually look back at anything. I can find myself easily inclined to maybe bad memories, I guess. So that's why it becomes quite a lot more complicated to say anything about it. But yeah, it has been so far a great adventure, and I look forward to that. I know that there have been many, I wouldn't exactly say failures, but events, occurrences, and whatnot that we could have done a much better work in, I guess, from a general perspective, but unavoidably. It also is not so useful to just get angry at what didn't get to be and what not. It's just that, yeah, sometimes, yes, as always, you look back and realize sometimes I could have also done a little bit more. I could have asked myself to do a little bit better. I could have trusted that I could have been more capable. I know I am to some degree capable of doing many things, and I just sometimes easily crumble against the pressure of my own existence and not much more. That's a wonderful thing that happens here, that there is almost no other pressure from anything external. Most of this is just the process of being here. As I said before, even if it is just words or heavy discussions, it is chill. In the end, it is incredibly chill, so it's not something actually bad. It is not something that we can actually say led to bad events or whatnot. But yeah, it's just that getting accustomed to doing stuff like that is hard. Yes. No matter how much potential we possess, it is still hard to actually let ourselves express all of that. Mostly because, yeah, sadly, the potential which we have, which we carry in our hands, is still something that we have to express and to make real, to let the rest of the world see. Sometimes, I guess, self doubt gets the best of us, even if unavoidably it is for our own detriment and nothing else. Just something that, I guess, we unavoidably all do at some point or another with different things in our life. And because of the different reasons, yeah, but it is still an occurrence that I will say everyone goes through. At least, at least I can say that too. If nothing else, to calm myself that yeah, that's not just my problem, but still, it doesn't solve it. The reality is, it's more about trusting stuff. I, I guess, as I said before, it's that same thing of wow, yeah, I'm going to be talking here about the stuff that might sound incredibly crazy, but on the other hand, it also is realizing that it isn't just about how it might feel from an ideal perspective. It also is about understanding that yeah, do I possess an actual interest in what I am saying? It shouldn't be all that crazy. I don't know, man. I have heard incredibly crazy people announce even more outrageous ideas about things that I can see be much less impactful or useful in the world. Why would this then? Why would having any kind of hope right now be so hard? Why would saying minimally honest things about what I hope myself be in any kind of way detrimental? It's just, once again, it's this habit of, oh yeah, I can easily analyze everyone else, but once again, letting our own guard down in respect to or in regards to what we are and what we go through, and slowly we get better at that, but it is still a hurdle to properly surmount, or more like a repeating pattern that no matter how many times we have already survived, it is still always lurking in the next corner, and that we have to solve yet again in order to lead ourselves to that life which we say is the one we want, you know? And I don't know, I'm happy. I can say it now at least, I am happy. Even if, I don't know, I have incredibly hard days, I have incredibly hard nights, it is still worth announcing that, yeah, things are looking brighter. Even if, once again, I said before, everything else might not be as good right now, I cannot guarantee that everything around me is stable. I want to trust that it is going to be. I cannot do that. I cannot promise anyone anything like that. It's sadly, yes, the living conditions and whatnot are far more difficult to properly assess in that sense. But at least that internal flame is alive. So that's more than enough, and that's at least something that I can actually guarantee exists and that I can actually say is there instead of just feeling like, oh, well, yeah, we don't even have anything. I am myself fucking dead inside, so even if I had everything else given to me, I still don't have anything to look forward to. No, even if things are not in the best shape, personally, once again, I am fine, so that's. I think that's the most important thing. Everything else isn't as important sometimes. Once again, now properly using it in a contestative manner, yeah, it isn't about the 20% of things that happen outside, it's about the 80% of interpretations and reactions that we get to have about that 20%. And today I can say, yeah, many things are going to keep on existing, I guess. And that's something that I want other people to, I guess, understand. I do believe in. I am not just, I guess, yeah, I do struggle a lot with empty promises. I have seen way too many fucking empty promises and whatnot. So that's why I say I don't want to make it sound like I am promising something that I cannot deliver on. I am trying to promise something that I believe in and that I will try to make the safest of bets in terms of ensuring that it gets to happen. So yeah, please. If I say it, not exactly that I want you to become obsessed with that, but know that I'm not, I guess, just just for the sake of making you have any kind of hope, illusion on things, and me be liberated from the responsibility of actually doing anything, saying stuff. I'm just trying to say it because I want to show that sometimes, yeah, I do have things that I'm working on. I do just, once again, struggle with revealing any of that sort, anything like that. Personally, I at some point, I guess we are going to be finding ourselves having much less of a hard time actually discussing stuff like that, and I guess we are all going to be a little bit crazier or whatnot, and we are all going to be a little bit freer in a sense and far more capable of actually discussing, discovering, and surmounting all the things which we want to see, experience, do, blah 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 blah. But for now, yeah, this is this is all that I can actually say. In that sense, I don't know. I'm happy. That's that's a good enough load, you know, a good enough statement. Sometimes it's a proper statement in that sense. It's not the oh wow how are you doing, Tupo? I am happy. It's an actual after having thought about everything else. Even if things are not all that well around me, even if I don't know, we are not the richest person in the earth, that doesn't matter. I'm fine. And thank you. Thank you for understanding that, I guess. And sorry if it takes me so long to actually say that sometimes, I guess. But yeah, let me read a little bit more. I have to actually try to, once again, remember what am I forgetting? I'm pretty sure I already forgot something that should have gone in the middle of all the other projects and whatnot. I guess so. Yeah, yeah. Okay, I remember. Let me ring. Thank you. Also, wait. I have an idea because I am personally starting to fucking lose it. Can we get a different background sound? I like it myself, yeah, but I also have a limit. I cannot listen for it like 5 hours in a row. Thank you. There we go. Tranquility. Listen to that. Just a clock. A clock clocking. Wow. Is it the proper expression? Did I just say something wrong? It's so over. But anyways, the point is, yeah, that yeah, sorry. I remember what I had to say. And I don't know. I guess stuff of other sorts will happen in the future. I have finally figured out other things. I said it before. I want to record things. Okay, I have also found out other things that I want to record that don't exactly lay in terms in the realm of just audiobooks. So that's going to be an interesting challenge. I in that sense, my best excuse is I don't want to actually reveal anything because they are my precious ideas. Not that I believe anyone is going to copy them. I'm not that paranoid, but it's more along the lines of okay, just hope that I am going to release them. I have committed myself to thinking about them for so long. I think I'm not going to abandon them right now. So yeah, it's just I have finally ideas that I can put into a different media than just here, you know? That's, I don't know, I wouldn't say exactly a big step. It's just something that had to be done at some point in time. And that's wonderful, you know? It's actually starting to have hope about stuff after so long, you know? But I don't know. I I'm happy. I cannot really complain, man. I cannot really say anything bad in that sense. I guess I don't know. I I cannot. Okay, let me say this. I cannot dodge that. I said it before. I do have a hard time looking back without feeling melancholic. I don't know, man. So many things have happened in these past 2 years already. It has been a wonderful adventure, but I don't know. It is still fucking sad to see, to look back and see how many things we have also lost. Yeah, we have had wonderful memories, but I think that I don't know the weight of the many other things or other not so positive things that happened throughout that time has also been quite surprising. You know, you look back and you see, and yeah, no, I'm not the person who says the most. Oh wow, it's so over. We lost this friend, or we have experienced this graduation. We have seen this person give up and whatnot. What I to some degree I mentioned before, but yeah, just like any other human being, I am quite incapable of actually speaking out them so directly. But yeah, I still have fucking feelings, you know, just like anyone else. And yeah, it's hard to remain in a place like this one and not feel in any way, not exactly weighed down, but rather moved by things that happen around you. And yeah, it's 2 years is quite a good enough amount of time to consider if it is actually something worth continue doing or not. I will say at this point that yeah, that's why on a different degree I said I'm not trying to speak here of oh wow yeah I want to be here for so long and it is literally my first week here. No, luckily enough it is not that. Luckily enough I am trying to speak with a degree of certainty behind what I say that allows us to have at least a hint of I want you to hope to believe in what I say. I don't want you to just listen, you know? That's what I personally am thankful for. That despite as I was saying, despite everything else that has happened, yeah, it is guaranteed that we're going to remain. And I don't know, I guess just to keep on working on that. But I don't know. I guess we will have to see. That's always. We will have to see. The future is quite uncertain as always, so no matter what kind of hurdle appears in front of us, we will see how we get to survive anything that happens. As always, the unexpected event or the unpredictable is always lurking around us. It's always altering our existence, even if sometimes for the good, for the better. In other occasions, it might not be as nice. So yeah, it's just about accepting that we have to be here and accepting that we have to continue doing the things that we say we like, you know? But yeah, I don't know. I I'm just trying to say that here we are. And I hope we continue to be here, I guess. And I don't know. I okay, I can say this in this context. And I have read way more than what I would have expected since I began. I have seen, experienced, even in a different realm of experience. I have gone through so many other things that I wouldn't have anticipated since we started all of this once again 2 years ago or so. So I'm happy for that. Once again, one of the many things that I am always happy for is having finally done this transition into this proper type of content. It's I think I always personally have a hard time when I see somebody being secluded to doing stuff that is completely unrelated to what they actually desire to do in mediums like this one. And I'm happy to see that, yeah, in my case, it got to happen that even if just by accident or through completely unavoidable or unsurmountable barriers, we ended up in this place. Yeah, this is something that I do actually like. As always, I still struggle a lot with saying that. I don't like to say that I have a nice time when I know that other people are fucking struggling. I don't like that. I don't. I guess it's understandable, just like anyone else. I accept that. Yeah, I have a nice time, but I don't want to make a show out of that. I don't. I don't like that. I don't like that sensation of showing off and whatnot. It's understandable enough. Yeah, the guy gets to have a happy moment. Wow, but life isn't about just staying happy and being fully conscious about how happy you are, we are, I am. It's also about doing things, and besides the happiness, things need to keep on happening in many other ways, as always, no? And I guess it's just that, yeah, it takes not just time, it takes courage to actually commit to doing things. It also is, I mean, saying it from a different perspective, it is completely understandable, man. It's not like I hear somebody say, "Oh wow, yeah, you know what? I am happy," and I don't understand why they take pleasure in saying that. It's completely tempting. I would spend every single day of my life. If it was for vices, unavoidably, I would have all of them. I'm no different from anyone else in that sense. I'm not going to come here and say, "Oh yeah, yeah, you know what? I'm the kind of guy who hates indulging in vices." No, bro. What am I? A fucking saint? I'm just like anyone else in that sense. But as long as I can utilize my mind in the ways in which I want, I would rather have stuff like this one. I would rather not make a big scene, not make a big show off of any kind. I don't, once again, it doesn't actually help anyone. It might make things even worse in some ways, so that's why I also don't like to do that. Never, I'm not somebody who actually celebrates that much. it's it's complicated, I guess, but yeah, it's just how it works, how I operate, let's say. But it's fine. We all get, even if we have our quirks or ways or whatever, we all still get to mesh a little bit more, a little bit less with one another. And that for me is enough in some ways. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I should probably take a break for first and foremost this foreign concept of an idle meeting, and second on second place to also actually stretch. That's whole idea of you shouldn't be sitting down for, I don't know. At this point, I was before being here, I was already for like the last half hour or so sitting down. So yeah, let me try to probably get up and whatnot. The point is, here we are, so that's fine. It works, anyways. But yeah, give me a second. Give me not just 1 second. Give me like I wouldn't say 5 minutes. I think it is unrealistic. Like how much? 2, 3 minutes or so, something like that. I almost hit stop streaming by mistake. Anyways, let me. Which one scripts? This one. How much are 2 minutes? Are 120? 180, I think. 183 minutes. Not really. I will try to be back before that. Probably no. Probably I will try to stretch before actually taking the break, or before actually sitting down. But yeah, I mean, for the sake of everyone, take a break before I actually fucking melt here. But yeah, what is the mute button? What's up? I'm back. Why is the bottle so in the middle? Anyways, uh, test. There we go. I don't know. I was actually thinking about it, but I don't really know, man. I want to. One of the many things. Let me say that. One of the many things I learned is I do love a good karaoke, but at the same time, I want a karaoke in which I can actually fucking sing. Something that I also learned is, yeah, on a boda only, if I stream in days like this one, at 1 o'clock, 1 a.m., 1 in the morning, I don't know how else to say it, at the 100th hour of today. I think that's a different metric. But yeah, if I stream so incredibly late here, I cannot fucking sing my fucking heart out. So yeah, uh, karaoke, I think it's going to be reserved for other occasions. When? I don't know, man. I also have to figure that out. It's something along the lines of, yeah, unavoidably, I don't live alone, so I cannot actually sing my heart out despite it being earlier. So many things have to give themselves, have to happen so that we can be here, have a proper karaoke, you know. But anyways, it's going to happen. Trust me, bro. It's going to happen at some point to have one. But yeah, anyways, the point is, I like that. I can be honest enough and say that finally, yeah, I've. Why is the audio so weird? I love karaoke. I don't think it's all that bad to actually be honest about those interests, those. Is it a matter of taste? I wouldn't seclude it to that or to just that, but yeah, things that we enjoy and whatnot. It's nice and it's something good. It's something that makes the heart not exactly flutter, but that makes the heart beat with a different rhythm, with a happier rhythm, you know? And that's one of those irreplaceable precious things of existence. So yeah, unavoidably, I guess it's going to be still kept as something precious that happens from time to time. I I haven't actually thought about it. I don't know if there is going to be one before or only after the next the reveal of the model. Once again, also because I haven't thought about it that deeply, I don't want to say that it is going to take 3 months. Unavoidably, it is not going to take 3 months. So if I say that it is going to take 6 months, and it ends up taking even longer, the new model, the whole, I wouldn't say rebrand. I'm not going to change how I am. I I don't see a meaning in that. My personality is still mine. I wouldn't change that just because I look different. It's just what's the word? Uh, visual rework. You know when you play something like League of Legends, when champions get visual reworks, when they get their stuff updated and whatnot, okay, same thing happens here. It's not going to be a complete visual and gameplay rework. I'm not going to do that. I don't like that. Personally, I don't like that. So it's not going to happen like that. It's going to just be changing visuals. But why am I going on so long with this? The point is, yeah. And you know, it's also going to be about trying to have some degree of certainty, happiness. I don't know, man. Something. And in that sense, yeah, karaoke is one of those things that I like. But that's what I was saying. I don't know exactly how long it will be before that new model comes out. I think that actually the first thing that has to happen is me getting a new working PC. The biggest fear that I have right now is starting to work on anything and this PC malfunctioning and fucking dying. So that's one of the main reasons as to why also it's necessary to make a change, you know. But it will happen. Just trust the plan. It will get to be at some point. And after that, yeah, we can more seriously discuss how things are going to look and whatnot. I don't know. I can probably draw at the very least a very basic draw or rough design of the whole possible way in which things are going to look and whatnot. But at the same time, I have to fully settle down on how it is going to look, and I haven't done that even. So that's why also I say it is sort of a mess. Not in a bad sense, but yeah, it is a mess. I am a messy person, I guess. I can say that without feeling so bad. Just how things are and function here, you know? And it's fun. It's not by itself something bad. Once again, it's just nature of things. But anyways, I don't know. You have, I am. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was thinking about it while I was on the break. One of the many things that have happened through these change, through these 2 years, has been very recently. Also, not just oh wow, yeah. Let me tell you again this story that I have talked about 20 times. I sort of fucking hate that. Oh, no, I really hate that. I just as I hate other people repeating themselves to me when I know that what they told me, I already know. I also sort of hate repeating myself to others. In this case, I guess even if I don't exactly know if everyone is on the same page as me, it's something that I would rather avoid. So, uh, anyways, the point is, this story is, and I have finally understood a little bit better how I personally function. So something very funny happened. I used to get incredibly tired after streaming for I don't know, let's say this amount of time before, similar to this amount of time before. And something very funny that happened was I never took a break. I finally understood that yeah, I sort of require one. This whole idea of the same thing with resting physically or yeah, I mean the proper word is physically. Getting to sleep, getting to sit down and take a break and chill out, so to speak. That same thing happens here. I need to do that if I want to function. And I need to actually I need to actually sit down and allow myself to once again take a break. And I didn't do that before. I didn't. I tended. I had a tendency to not do that. So that was something that I struggled for. I don't know. Probably if I have to give you a time reference so that we can be more on the same page, I guess. Probably at least a year and a half out of the whole time that I have been here. As in, yeah, very recently actually, I understood that, yeah, I need to sit down and calm down and actually let myself like breathe properly and whatnot so that I can keep on being here. It's something always funny. It's the eternal journey of that whole idea. I believe that I understand myself. Maybe I don't. Maybe I don't fully understand who I am, or as deeply as I thought I did before. But that's just the whole adventure of being here. I don't know. It doesn't need to be so esoteric or so sound such a different world thing. You know, it's just how things happen. You one day you realize that yeah, you actually don't suffer so much from an untreatable issue. You just were incapable of solving the things that happened to you in the proper manner. Yeah, sometimes, yeah. I guess in my case, it came more than anything else from that side of, wow, but I'm a younger guy. I don't need to take any fucking break. I don't like it when my shows, when my I don't know, when my audiobooks take a break. Why would I do that myself? I You have to do what you want done to you, you know? So I will make sure that I never fucking calm down, chill out before continuing. And yeah, sometimes we can be quite unrealistic. And in this case, yeah, finally I came to understand that I do need to sit down. I do need to calm down. I do need. I have human needs. Wow, I'm not a superhuman. I cannot believe it. It's so sad, brother. But anyways, but things like that by the thousands, I guess, and it's fine. Anyways, it's just slowly getting to comprehend what one is, how one functions, and what not. I don't know. I remember, for example, yeah. I never even this one I never mentioned. I used to get my neck incredibly tired before. It was because I had the bad habit of leaving my phone on my own lap, and I had to be in the fucking worst position if I ever needed to read anything on the phone. If I ever needed to look at what happens most of the time, have the chat on the phone. So I looked down constantly when I had to look at it, and unavoidably that was going to be a painful thing to do. Very, this one isn't so very recently, but yeah, recently enough, after finally understanding how I get to set myself up, I realized that maybe I need to fix this. I can actually not end up every single stream with a cramp on my own neck. It's stuff, once again, I said it before, stuff like that by the hundreds, by the dozen or so, by the handful. ah, but yeah, it's fine, I guess. Slowly, everyone gets to polish their own technique or something like that, I guess. And if that doesn't happen, then we might as well not be so capable of actually getting to experience more what we actually want. In this case, being here, as I said before. And that entails so many other things that, wow, it would be almost impossible to believe that so many other things do get to move or do get to actually happen because of one at a first glance unrelated event. I don't know. Just I do still have quite a hard time understanding things, sadly. So I can't say the theory of the butterfly effect. I don't. I cannot fully tell you how much of an actual impact it has on us. Yeah, sometimes it's just sufficient for us to share a stuff like this, so that in the future, one day, we get to live such a brighter future just because one day we got to be here. Or stuff of that sort that seems insignificant in the moment, but in hindsight, it had such a weight that, wow, if that never happened, we wouldn't have had such a nice time in anything of what we got to actually see later on. But I don't know, man. Besides that, something that I wanted to say that is happening right now, this incredibly fucking hot here, brother. Why is it so hot? Can we? I don't know. I like the memes. I'm somebody who loves memes, but I do still understand. No matter how much of a meme I try to make it, it is still in the end. Uh, let's say like this. Under all the layers of irony, it is still something that you are asking for stuff like, oh yeah, let me make a meme redeem like, or not redeem like meme their publication like let me pay my electric bills. I don't actually need that, but I don't know. It's just that we are tempted so easily. I am tempted so easily by stuff like that, and sometimes it's not such an actual thing that one needs. Once again, it's just things that look interesting when we don't have anything else in our mind, once you stop, look around, and consider what might happen if you actually have those things exist, continue being, and whatnot, wow, then you might realize this might be far worse to have to use to allow in my existence, in my life, to let myself have, So that's I guess the part of the moderation that seems to be so important. And I don't know. I'm happy. So I said it before. I'm happy right now. I don't. Sometimes I make it sound like I need so many things. Not actually. It's just that eternal desire to complain and not much else. But oh well. If it isn't the human nature itself, well. And I don't know. I guess, yeah. Something funny. You wanna know something funny? I always think out many things. I say it here sometimes. I don't. I hope I do every time to at least show that I do have thoughts besides what I am talking about. It's not. I'm not one of those people that don't possess any inner monologue. Sadly, I do about stuff while I am also talking. So yeah, I was thinking about it, but I realized, yeah, I haven't fucking mentioned anyone else so far. And I don't know, it's crazy. It's hard to talk about that. I do still fucking struggle quite a lot. I am supposedly being a grown-up person, being somebody who has been around the whole social aspect and whatnot for so long. Once again, 2 years of being here and whatnot, and I still have a fucking hard time mentioning anyone or anything else that might not be so associated with just myself. I guess, as always, the biggest risk is always saying something about someone else that might represent them in a way in which might not be true. I don't want to put words into the mouth of someone else. I guess that's as up to that point I am still following the rule of don't do stuff that you don't want done onto yourself. I don't like it when people fucking makes up shit about me in terms of, oh yeah, you said this. No, bro, I didn't say that. Why are you saying that I said that? Can you stop lying about what I said? I will be thankful if you stopped making up what I am talking about. Mostly because I know what I say. Even if I don't have a perfect memory, I know what I say. I assume that you also do. So I I believe it's the same struggle here. But anyways, the point is, yeah, it has been 2 years. It has been quite a crazy adventure to see so many people. That much is not so hard to express. But yeah, it's crazy always to see so many people come and go, move around, have the pleasure of being with, but also having the displeasure of seeing them go. Whatnot, and it's. I said before in some capacity that, yeah, many events of all of those sorts end up having an impact on you. I have even. I am not going to go that deeply into it right now. I don't think it is the main point today to have. Oh yeah, let's have any absolutely deep conversation about philosophy that would take me 3 hours to actually explain. No, but I have been thinking about the role of the society and that otherness which we get to interact with in people like I guess the people who like to think of themselves as more, I wouldn't say exactly clever, more emotionally intelligent in some way, something along those lines, I guess. And yeah, the point is, something funny happens in all of that, and that is that, yeah, it has been quite a great adventure. I cannot really complain. I I had, luckily enough, also, yeah, the fortune of not having not having the weight of anyone who is actually a nuisance to me. I guess unavoidably, not. It's unrealistic to say, oh yeah, I never had the displeasure of meeting somebody that I didn't like. That's I guess borderline sociopath to tell you that, oh yeah, 2 years being around and never having seen anyone that I didn't think, wow, for real, or I don't know. But the point is, I haven't, and on the other hand, had such a displeasure with anyone. I think, yeah, at that degree, and although I feel like I should clarify or say unavoidably, I do think something along the lines of, but luckily enough, it also is associated not just with the other person, it also is associated with how we, in that sense, I have said that at this point like 20 times, but let me repeat that. 20% is related to what happens outside, 80% is related to we, how we react to what happened outside. Yeah, I have known many people, but I don't know, man. No, not all of that is all that impactful. Many times it might have seemed like that if I allowed myself to see it like that. So, yes, temperance is the proper word in this case. It has been a temperate enough experience throughout all of this, so I'm happy for that. I guess, unavoidably, everybody has some regrets about the stuff. The day in which the person looks back and they find literally no regrets, that might as well not be, or yeah, that might as well be the day in which we stop living in reality, because nobody can have absolutely zero regrets. Just none that is worth mentioning, certainly, but unavoidably there are things that one would have wished we got to do better always. And it's just that, yeah, in this sense, I'm saying, having gotten a possibility to see so many people, to be in so many places and whatnot, I can say I enjoy this, and I can say that I also look forward to keep on being in this by default social hobby. So I just, I guess, probably want, not just want, hope that I can achieve also that side of, yeah, you know what? I am somebody who supposedly talks about philosophy. Where is the fucking philosophical discussions with another person? Besides the monologues and endless monologues, what is the otherness that is so present in more than anything else, this post-modernity? So having more of that is nice, but at the same time, I don't know. Politic controversial, not political, but controversial opinion. Yeah, I have also seen what places like the quote unquote philosophy sphere has to offer. So excuse me for not being all that outwardly interested in, I don't know, being the one who makes everyone else speak, I prefer to speak, even if it is just for to ourselves and nothing else. I prefer that than to have something far different. But, man, life is just like that. And yeah, I don't know. I think, yeah, it's starting to get like unhealthily hot in here. I wish it wasn't, but I think that, as I can say that, I think it has to do with the weather getting even worse. So it's supposedly that whole idea of before it actually rains down, it needs to, for some random reason, get incredibly hot. Okay, that is happening right now. Only issue is, yeah, on a weather it is incredibly fucking late, so I cannot go to sleep. You literally need to chill down so that you can sleep, but I don't know. I can at least not worry anymore about having to speak and whatnot. So yeah, let me call it a day around here. I'm happy with all of this thus far. So I hope once again it wasn't. I don't celebrate. It wasn't a celebration of any kind. So it was just more than anything else a rapid exploration about all the things that might happen in the future from now on, and a quick recollection of other events that did happen before. So thank you for sitting through all of that. I hope they got to clarify stuff because yeah, on the other hand, I do know. I say it quite often. I do recognize I am incredibly incapable of being specific with what I do, what is going to happen, what are the plans. I know I have plans, but I don't disclose them myself. So yeah, thank you for that, and thank you for understanding me, and thank you for being here. Thank you for everything. As always, it has been a pleasure. But yeah, until next occasion, I guess. And I don't know when. Probably not tomorrow. Tomorrow I should be studying. Tomorrow and the day after tomorrow, I should be tomorrow studying. The day after tomorrow, having a presentation to do. So I will be fucking tired after that. But yeah, anyways, the point is probably see each other on Tuesday or so. Anyway, have a good night. Thank you. And yeah, be happy, be good, be nice, be stay hydrated, stay rested, stay conscious, be responsible, and all of that. Thank you. And yeah, good night. How fucking hot it is here.